Hey, Dan Cucimilla here with NorCal Sports Network. And today we're doing a video on, are the Los Angeles Dodgers, the 2025 Los Angeles Dodgers, the best team ever assembled? We'll get right into it, but first let us thank our sponsor of this video, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group is located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs, especially if you've got a personal injury situation. Give them a call at 415-613-9483. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, the LA Dodgers, the 2025 LA Dodgers just finished off the Milwaukee Brewers in 4 games, and they looked like, it looked like the varsity playing the freshman team. Really, this team is just put together. And you talk about the phrase built for October. I don't think I've ever seen a team more built for October than the LA Dodgers. Their pitching staff is remarkable, one of the best ever assembled. And I think if you look at this team and what they've had to do to get to the World Series, and whether they're playing Seattle or Toronto at the time of this recording, still yet to be determined. I don't think it's going to be much competition because the Dodgers are running on all cylinders. They've got 4 starters that they could throw out in any order they want to. But, obviously they're probably going to go Snell, Yamamoto, and then either Glasnow or Ohtani in game 3, and then the other would go game 4. I think they should go with Ohtani in game 3, just because he'll be available to pitch game 7. And we know what Shohei Ohtani can do when it's clutch and when it matters the most, as we saw against the Brewers in game 4. That might quite possibly be the best game ever played by a major league player when you consider that he pitched 6 shutout innings and hit 3 home runs, 3 for 3 with 3 blasts. Look, him and Babe Ruth, I hear people say, well, Babe Ruth pitched, but Babe Ruth was not the athlete that Shohei Ohtani is. And Babe Ruth didn't throw 100 miles per hour. And Babe Ruth didn't run like a gazelle, like, Shohei can run. And I just think if Babe Ruth were playing today, yeah, he'd probably have all the modern equipment and he'd have to compete. So he would be able to do it, but just not sure if he could measure up to what Shohei's doing. So, but the Dodgers, I hear stuff about the New York Yankees winning 5 consecutive titles from 49 to 53. Do you realize that in 49 to 53, there was 16 teams total in all of Major League Baseball, 8 in the National League, 8 in the American League, and whoever won your league went straight to the World Series? So there was no playoffs. There was no playoffs at all. There was no 2 rounds of playoffs, or 3 in the case of the Dodgers this year, because they had to play in the wild card division, that first 3-game set against Cincinnati. Then they went on to dispose of the Philadelphia Phillies in 4, and then the Brewers in 4. So they've played a total of 9 games, and the Dodgers are actually 10. They won. No, I take it back. 9. It was a best of 3, so they won 2 in a row to beat Cincinnati 2-0, then beat the Phillies 3-1, and then just finished off the Brewers 4-0. So they are 2 plus 3 plus 4. They are 9-1. Yeah, I was right. 9-1. Okay, I was thinking 3 and 4, which is 10, but it's 9-1 in the National League. And the game they lost to the Phillies was a very, very close game. So they're dominating right now through 3 rounds, and they're going to have to wait on their World Series opponent for about a week. So, and I think whoever they play, they will handle pretty easily, just based on their roster, their pitching, they're rested. But you know what? It is baseball, so anything can happen, right? But I think this Dodger team, the way it's assembled and how many Hall of Famers it's going to have when all is said and done is going to surpass that of the 27 Yankees. You know, they were led by Gehrig and Ruth. You had the 49 through 53 Yankees that were made up of some really talented players as well, but nothing like this 2025 Dodger team. And then I guess if you want to go to the modern era, you can look to the 1998 New York Yankees, which won 114 games, lost only 48 games that year, and went on to sweep the San Diego Padres 4-0 in the World Series. But if you look at the players on that Yankee roster, they were led by their pitching of Andy Pettitte, right? He was their big starter along with David Cohn and David Wells. Now, they had the closer of closers, that Yankee team, which makes them, made them pretty invincible in 98, which was Mariano Rivera, right? The greatest closer of all time. So that's a big plus where the Dodgers really have not had a super closer, but they may have discovered one in Roki Sasaki now, as they've made him their closer for these playoffs and going forward into the World Series. But that Yankee team really only had one Hall of Famer in Derek Jeter, right? One true Hall of Famer on the field. Of course, Joe Torre was the manager. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I mentioned two. Sorry, I'm thinking of the field of Derek Jeter. Pitching, obviously, Mariano Rivera, a unanimous selection for the Hall of Fame. Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter. Now, those are two of the most important positions in the game, right? Your shortstop, your leader on the diamond, and your closer. But let's take a look at the actual players that I think will be in the Hall of Fame from the Dodgers when it's all said and done. All right, you can go to first base. It's Freddie Freeman. He's got a ticket to the Hall of Fame. Shortstop, Mookie Betts, a ticket to the Hall of Fame. Shohei Ohtani, Mr. Everything, right? Pitcher, DH, extraordinaire, ticket to the Hall of Fame. That's three right there. Now, as careers move forward, it'll yet to be determined. Yamamoto's only in his second season. We'll see. He's got a long way to go, and he's nowhere close, right? You're going to have a solid career. But Yamamoto has a shot, I would say, based on how his career ends. You got catcher Will Smith, that he's been a really good hitter. Now he's going to need to do it for several more years. I don't know if he's Hall of Fame worthy. Time will tell. But you have three surefire Hall of Famers in the guys I mentioned, Freeman, Betts, and Shohei. Now, pitching-wise, do they have other Hall of Famers? Oh, I forgot. Clayton Kershaw, automatic ticket to the Hall of Fame. There's four. Okay, so they've got four surefire Hall of Famers on this current roster. Now, if you want to look at other pitchers on the staff, hard to say. I mean, Yamamoto might have the best shot because he's got a much longer career ahead of him if he stays healthy. Whereas Blake Snell, I don't think he's Hall of Fame worthy unless he puts together maybe 5 great seasons going forward. Just thinking off the top of my head, some other guys that could be Hall of Famers on this Dodger team without looking at the roster in front of me, I would say that's about it. But there's 4 guys that are Hall of Famers, right? Freeman, Betts, Ohtani, and Clayton Kershaw. And man, this team it's stacked, and it's got a bunch of great players around them that surround them that are excellent role players, right? Max Muncy, Tommy Edmonds, Henrique Hernandez, who's Mr. October playoff guy. Just the surrounding supporting staff, the starting pitching with Glasnow, and I mentioned Ohtani and Snell and Yamamoto, and then you've got other guys that are there's just so much. Now this team could easily have won 100 plus games, right? If they, number one, stayed a little more healthy during the regular season, and two, put their emphasis on the regular season. But baseball is such a grind, 162 games. This organization has figured it out that there's no need to go out there and bust your butt for 162 games. What was it? What year was that the Mariners? I think it was 2001. I can't remember for sure that they won 116 games, and then they didn't even make it to the World Series. They lost to the Yankees. So you can't just go crazy. The San Francisco Giants come to my mind as a Giants fan in 2021, played lights out in the regular season, winning a franchise record 107 games, and they lost in the division series in 5 to the Dodgers. So the Dodgers have learned that you go out and you just do what you have to do to win your division, get in the playoffs, and save yourself for October. These guys are fresh arms, as fresh as any team I think I've ever seen enter a playoff. They're so fresh, they have very little mileage on those arms, and so they're able to go out there and every pitch throw BBs, right? And their arms are fresh. So they figured out a system that truly the slogan built for October is the LA Dodgers. So do I think this is the best team ever? It sure looks like it, the way they're playing. We'll see how they do. They're going to have to win it all in the World Series, right? We saw the New England Patriots go 18-0 and lose to the New York Giants in the World Series, the Super Bowl, excuse me. The 18-1 lost to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. So at that point, they were one game away from being the greatest team ever. The Golden State Warriors they won 73 regular season games, was considered the greatest team over the Chicago Bulls in history, but lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 7th and deciding game. So that knocked them out. So we'll see what the Dodgers do. I think if the Dodgers waltz through the American League opponent in the 2025 World Series, you would have to say, despite not having a great record, 93 wins in the regular season, you would have to consider them as maybe the greatest team ever in Major League Baseball. Tell me what you think below. Agree, disagree? I'm sure we'll have lots of disagreements. I'm talking about this team assembled as a playoff team, not the whole regular season. There's other teams that have had much better regular seasons, but this team is clicking on all cylinders. So comment below. Tell me you agree, disagree, and we'll try to respond to some of those comments. Also, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help this video. If you like and subscribe to the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, we really appreciate it. Again, thank you for watching this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.